He cried like there was no tomorrow after I calmly recounted his secret life. 6 hookups confirmed, starting 1 month into our relationship. But all I did was smile and hug him goodbye. My name is Alex, a former cabin crew now in marketing, and at 25, I was determined to prove I was emotionally mature enough for my older partner. Instead, I had to become mature enough to orchestrate his guilt. When we first started dating, that was the whole point. I wanted an older partner, someone around 30, because I thought that meant they'd be more settled, more mature. I always knew I was an emotional person, so I worked hard not to be. I really tried my best to be strong for our relationship. Even when that weird feeling started, that little whisper that something was off, I shut it down. I thought, Alex, you're being immature. Stop creating drama. I refused to let my own feelings ruin what I thought we had. I just wanted everything to be stable and good. If any of this sounds familiar, please subscribe. It helps me know I'm not alone in sharing this. Also, please tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I really want to hear from you. But that feeling wouldn't leave me alone. It was just a faint whisper that something was wrong behind my back. I told myself it was just my own insecurity talking. I remember sitting in his car sometimes. It always had this cheap, generic air freshener smell, and I just pushed the bad thoughts away. I really believed that if I was mature, I wouldn't entertain those suspicions. It was easier to think I was the problem than to face the truth. I kept trying to be the perfect, non-emotional partner. I thought keeping silent made me strong. I didn't know that silence was only helping him hide everything. But fate has a weird way of working, right? Earlier this year, I left my job with the airlines. It was a huge change. I started applying for roles in a totally different industry, like marketing. I really needed that fresh start. I never thought that simple career shift would actually be the thing that saved me. It was during my first week at the new company that everything came crashing down. That job change felt like the universe was pushing me out of his orbit and putting me exactly where I needed to be to finally see the truth. So I meet my new colleagues, and this guy Sam messages me on Instagram. He said he was just doing some innocent stalking. He saw a group photo I was in. Then he asked, "Do you know that guy in the photo, your boyfriend?" It was so casual. He asked if I knew him, the guy I thought was my mature partner. Instantly, I felt that deep drop in my stomach. The little whispers I'd ignored were screaming at me now. It didn't feel like a simple question. I knew right away that this was it. This was the moment everything changed forever. Sam then asked if I knew my partner wasn't straight. I was just frozen. I kept saying I had no idea. Then I asked how he knew that. He told me they had hooked up back in December. December. We were together in December. It felt exactly like the phrase. I felt like cold water was poured over me. Not heat, but just an intense, freezing shock. Everything in my mind just went still. He kept talking, but I was suddenly seeing the whole relationship as a lie. I had to focus so hard just to keep my face straight and pretend I was shocked, like this was new news to me. I know I needed to look like I didn't care. When Sam asked how he knew all this, I immediately lied. I told Sam that I didn't really know the guy in the photo, that he was just a common friend. I needed Sam to keep talking. If he knew I was the girlfriend, he'd stop telling me things. That lie bought me time. It was a cold, calculated move. I pushed all my real pain down, exactly like I had suppressed those earlier doubts. I wasn't acting emotional anymore. I was acting smart. I needed proof. I decided right then I wouldn't cry until I had all the answers. Sam kept going. He told me the cheating didn't just happen once in December. He said it started way back in March of last year. March. We had only been together since February. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a slip-up. That was a decision he made right from the beginning. He was building our relationship on a lie just 1 month after we started. It escalated everything from a sad event to a full, calculated deception. I realized he was never actually mature. He was just a liar. I asked Sam how they even met. I needed the technical details. He just said it was through the G app. That was the first actual piece of evidence I got. The name of the app was like a key. I knew right then I couldn't just have a screaming match. I couldn't let my emotions take over. Not now. I had to go into full detective mode. An emotional confrontation would just let him lie his way out. I needed rock-solid proof. I needed to know the whole, ugly truth before I said anything to him. I made a decision right then. I wasn't going to have a sloppy fight where he could twist things. I wouldn't cry, and I wouldn't yell. That wasn't my revenge. My revenge was making sure he couldn't deny anything. I needed every piece of evidence I could find. It was like a new mission. I used all my self-control to suppress the hurt so I could collect the facts. I had to be smarter than the lies he told. I had to build a case against him that was airtight. He wasn't getting away with silence. I started my own investigation right away. I went through my Instagram contacts, my mutual friends or moots who lived near his place. I messaged them one by one. I asked them innocent questions first, just to get a feel for things. I didn't tell any of them why I was asking. I felt cold and focused, like I was searching for missing luggage, not my relationship. I was treating my betrayal like a project in my new marketing job. My only goal was gathering data that he couldn't argue with. I wasn't emotional anymore. I was methodical. First, I had to confirm they were the right kind of contact. I asked if they used the G app. That was my screening question. I didn't want to waste time. Once they said yes, I knew they were worth talking to. It was so strange. My fingers were typing quickly, but my heart felt totally numb. I wasn't looking for comfort or friendship. I was just running a search. The confirmation that they used the app was like the first point of data. It made the whole thing feel less personal and more like a technical problem I needed to solve. The next step was clinical. I sent them my partner's photo and asked if they had ever met this guy. That was the point of no return. Seeing his face, which I thought was honest, being sent out to strangers for confirmation of a hookup, it felt dirty. It made the betrayal real, not just a suspicion. I had to know. It wasn't about drama, it was about facts. If I got a bunch of no's, I could go back to my life. But if I got a yes, I had to be ready to end everything cleanly. Then the first one answered. They said yes. I've met him and hooked up. That word, yes, hit me hard. It was just one word, but it was all the proof I needed. I didn't scream. I didn't even drop my phone. I just processed it, like an analyst receiving bad news about a stock. I looked at the picture of my partner that I'd sent, the one I used to love, and now it was just evidence. It was confirmation that the feeling I had suppressed for months was completely real. I was right, and that made me feel colder than ever. Then the rest of the messages started flooding in. 5 more people. All of them said yes. They confirmed they had met him. They had hooked up with him. 6 different guys. The volume of it was shocking. This wasn't a mistake, it was his second life. It was a pattern of him being a serial liar and cheater. The devastation was massive, but I couldn't afford to feel it yet. It just turned into more fuel. I had 6 clear confirmations. He had 0 defense left. It made my pound for the breakup feel even more justified. What they told me next was disgusting. They said he would always insist on going to a motel or checking in, and he would try to get a third person involved, doing 3S. That was his routine. It meant this wasn't just random, it was organized and risky, and it was happening in the same car where we used to sit. That car, with the cheap air freshener smell, was his other life. Knowing he took these risks while keeping up the perfect facade with me made my blood run cold. It showed me exactly how little he respected me. The contacts I spoke to, not one of them knew he had a partner. Not one. It was because we kept a relationship very private, just like he always wanted. I used to think that meant we were serious and protecting something special. But now I realized it was just his shield. He used my desire for privacy to hide his whole secret life. That privacy was the key to his cheating success. It made the lie feel even deeper, like the foundation of our entire relationship was just built to protect his secrets. Once the last message came, all the data was collected. That's when the full weight of it hit me. I felt so devastated. It wasn't the kind of devastation that makes you cry, though. It was a cold, crushing feeling. I didn't know what to feel first. It was almost too big to process, so I pushed it aside. I knew I couldn't break down yet. I had one job left: the confrontation. I directed all that crushing pain into focus. I told myself I would deal with the emotions after I got my vindication. But one thought was stronger than the anger or the sadness. With all those hookups and the risky things he did, I suddenly realized my health is at risk. That's what really terrified me. It wasn't just my feelings he messed with, he put my body in danger. The emotional pain suddenly took a back seat to this physical fear. I didn't care about the relationship anymore. I cared about myself. That fear was the final push I needed to move fast and finish the plan that same day. I had to protect myself first. I knew exactly where the confrontation needed to happen. His car. That was the perfect place. Most of his hookups happened there, in that little space that always smelled like that same cheap air freshener. It was the vessel of his lies. So that exact same day, I asked him to drive us somewhere. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't act suspicious. We were sitting there, and I knew he was comfortable, just like he was before all those secrets. I was ready to use his own secret spot against him. We were parked. I turned to him, keeping my voice totally flat and quiet. I didn't yell or show any emotion. I just asked, "Do you have anything you want to admit?" It was unnervingly calm. I gave him the chance to be mature, the way I thought he was. I wanted to see if the man I loved would tell the truth when he had the last chance. I watched his face closely. He must have thought I was suspicious about something small, not the huge life he was hiding. My calmness was my weapon in that moment. He looked me right in the eye. He didn't hesitate. He just said, "Voila." Nothing. He denied everything immediately. That lie, that quick voila, confirmed everything for me. It meant he was never going to respect me enough to tell the truth on his own. He was going to keep lying until the last possible second. But I didn't break my calm face. His denial just made my plan even stronger. I knew then he wouldn't get forgiveness, he would get justice. I gave him 2 more chances. 2 quiet, clear opportunities to tell me anything at all. He just kept denying it. He looked confused, maybe a little stressed, but he kept saying nothing was wrong. He wasted all 3 chances I gave him. I realized then that I wasn't there for his confession. I was there to deliver the sentence. The chance for him to fix things was gone. He refused the grace I offered him. Now he would face the full evidence of the case I built in silence. His fate was sealed by his own lies. Since he wouldn't talk, I started talking. I told him everything. I didn't yell, I spoke quietly. I detailed the story Sam told me. I mentioned the G app. Then I started on the inventory. I told him about the 6 guys. I knew their names. I knew that he always insisted on the car. I narrated his secret life back to him, fact by fact. I didn't need to ask questions. I just presented the evidence. His face changed from confusion to absolute horror. It was all there, undeniable. That's when he broke. His face crumbled. I just kept talking, calmly giving him the list of his secrets. Suddenly, he was crying like crazy, crying like there was no tomorrow. Loud, ugly sobs. The mature partner I thought I had was gone. It was just a weak man whose perfect lie had totally collapsed. He couldn't deny it anymore because I knew too much. The power shifted completely. My calm voice cut through his fake reality. His tears didn't make me feel sorry for him. They just confirmed I won. Amidst the sobbing, he admitted everything. He couldn't deny it because I had all the facts. He said yes, he did it. The full truth came out right there in the car. It was silent, except for his crying. My investigation was complete, and the results were flawless. The confession wasn't for me. It was for him. He had to say it out loud. I didn't need to ask anything else. I knew the exact moment that he understood the full weight of his lies. I was speechless, but not from shock. I was speechless because I had executed my plan perfectly. He was still sobbing uncontrollably in his car, crying for his lost life. I was speechless, but I was also calm. I forced myself not to cry, not to give him the reaction he probably expected. Instead, I gave him my sweetest smile. It wasn't a kind smile, it was the smile of victory. It showed him that I was absolutely fine. That smile was the real shock for him, much worse than any anger. He looked up at me confused by my happiness, and I let him see that I felt nothing but power. Then I did the last thing he expected. I hugged him tight. It wasn't a hug of comfort. It was a final physical dismissal. It was a goodbye to the person I loved and a seal on his guilt. I didn't want to show him any real vulnerability. I didn't want him to think there was any possibility of making things up to me. I held him for just a second, feeling him shake with his own crying. That tight hug was my way of showing him I was walking away completely whole. I had kept my power. After that hug, I simply left the car. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't need to explain anything. I just opened the door and started walking away. I didn't look back, not even once. It was the hardest thing to do, but I wouldn't give him the chance to see me hesitate. That walk away, leaving him alone in that car, was my final, sweet revenge. I cut the tie completely. He was gone, and I was free. I was done with his lies, his immaturity, and that stupid car smell. I didn't want him to try to make things right. I didn't want him to apologize and feel like he could balance the mistake. I wanted him to be left with the weight of what he did. That was my sweet revenge. I wanted him to carry that guilt with him forever. I didn't give him a tear or a yell which would have given him satisfaction. I gave him nothing but a final smile and silence. He got the punishment I decided on. He was left with his breakdown and his knowledge that I was okay without him. I love myself more. That's the real ending. It wasn't about the tears he cried, it was about the tears I didn't shed for him. He didn't deserve my sadness. I immediately got tested right after, and thank God I'm negative. I'm happy now. I'm doing so much better. To anyone else out there who has been cheated on, please know you deserve better. You deserve kinder days ahead. I know how devastating it is, but remember that karma is a bitch for them, and self-love is the victory for us.